Life can bring us down, but turn it around.
Hello and welcome to X Witness. See, try again. Hello and welcome to X Witness Awake. I'm your host Jonathan. Also, welcome to the Apostate Coalition channel. I'm your host Jonathan. So, we have a discussion today. We're going to talk about Robert Hendriks and the Public Information Department, the PID. So, first off, we have Ryan Kultastic. Say
Hello. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Glad to see you in here, everybody in the chat room. And joining us today, we have two friends of the channel. We've seen Ray before. She's been on the channel. We've had some live discussions. We found each other on TikTok. Hey, Ray, how are you?
Good. Good morning.
Good morning. It's better than being out in field service, right?
Oh my gosh, we're doing something so much better with our time.
Right. This is the actual good news. And so what spurred on this discussion? I mean, we've had discussions about the PID before. If you take a look at the channel, I think this is maybe our third stream about it since they came public. Well, the leaked information about that department became public to us because of insiders, and we love those insiders. Kenzie just the other day made a video, and you know, it maybe would have been nice to key that up. But Kenzie had made a video that kind of spurred me back into thinking about what Robert Hendriks is up to. And Jonathan and I thought, why don't we pull some facts, some information, some key information that we think really shows how they use this double talk with what they portray to the media versus what they, you know, have written in their literature. So thank you, Kenzie. Welcome to the show. That was really inspiring, and I'm glad that you've inspired us to be here today.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah,
it's incredibly interesting. Like, it is a very weird topic, so I'm excited.
Yeah, it is very strange to think, like, because when I grew up, we would never think that they would have a marketing department, and now to realize they're spending money to buy puff pieces on YouTube and these little affiliate channels, it's very strange to me. So yeah. So Jonathan, is there
buy
anything?
a puff piece.
You know what, Jonathan, that actually brings up a really good point. Just so you all know, I did email some of these places in order to see if we could ourselves purchase a puff piece. I didn't say I'm going to purchase a puff piece, but to see if we could have a show on one of these channels. And I have yet to get a reply back. I don't know why that is. I don't know if I don't know the lingo. Maybe email is not the best way to get in contact with these people, but I am going to keep trying, and we are going to find out some way or another how much they are spending, and if we can even get our faces, the Apostate Coalition, on one of these little puff pieces where they can softball questions to us. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So
you'll probably do better if you have a slimy smile and a nice suit.
And a lot of money.
And a lot of money.
Yeah.
Now that money actually,
part.
Darn. Unfortunately, I don't have all of that. That might make it a little bit difficult. But I just want to say hi to everybody. Jonathan, is there anything that you wanted to add? Is there anything that you want to say for right now for the show?
No, I think we can just show our introductory piece and go from there.
All right, you guys. So what we decided to do is, as I said before, is to pull together a bunch of clips. So Jonathan pulled his own clips from some of the puff pieces that we found, and I pulled my own. So the format might be a little different from his clips to my clips, but you'll get the drift. So we're going to show these to everybody. We'll take a look, and then we're going to have a discussion and just kind of pick the brains of former Jehovah's Witnesses like yourselves. So let me share that. Give me just a second. And let
I
me
love that
know if the
artwork.
sound is okay. Yeah, isn't that great? I
Yeah.
love it. That's AI. We're all playing with that. Okay, let me know if the sound is okay, guys. If there is any sound.
There is.
Yes, there is.
Beautiful work that was accomplished during
Yeah.
that return to in-person meetings and in-person memorial. It was remarkable what you brothers and sisters were able to accomplish and how Jehovah blessed our work beyond compare. Here's a little chart that will help us. Just in a very small amount of time, we were able to shift gears very quickly. And from March the 25th through May the 5th, we had 1,058 total media hits. In fact, when you look on this chart on 3/30, this was the day before we went back to the meetings on Saturday and Sunday, we had over 40 hits just that day alone. And then here was the beauty of it.
Here's the key.
Oh my
Not
God.
only did we have the return to meetings, but then that spilled right over into our memorial. And it was an even split really between the two. But that meant that we were in the news cycle for some 20, 25 days easy. All of the apostate stuff pushed to the bottom, all of the beautiful truths pushed to the top.
Welcome back, and we now welcome back Robert Hendriks. He is the national spokesperson.
Welcome back.
Joining me now
With me now is Robert Hendriks,
and he is the U.S. spokesperson for Jehovah's Witnesses. And we welcome Robert Hendriks, who is
Robert
the
Hendriks.
national spokesperson for the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Dorian Gamble is a local media representative. Thank you both.
And welcome
joining
back.
us on
Our
the
last
podcast.
guest is a national
Robert, thank you
spokesman
so much
for
for joining us.
Jehovah's Witnesses, and he's with us today to shine a light on the organization's global campaign.
Jehovah's Witnesses have been known for their door-to-door ministry.
Aaron Purvis.
A year
Aaron,
ago,
welcome.
all of that changed.
Thank you for having me.
That
You
melted
can
my
see that
brain.
little tidbit later.
That melted my brain a little bit.
And there
I'm
was
not
a
even
lot
gonna
more
lie.
actually, but I thought I'm not
Oh,
going to
yeah.
subject people to like a 20-minute montage.
Montage of Robert Hendriks,
Yeah.
introducing Robert Hendriks.
But I just
But
kind of
that's
wanted to get a sense
overwhelming.
of there's a lot. And with that PID guy, I forget what his name is, but I think he was the former head of that department.
Oh, yes.
Or maybe once they change it from the desk to the department, that might have been the transition. But
Right.
obviously there's a lot of media hits, as he said. So we're not even seeing it all.
No, we don't even realize what they have out there. This is what, for whatever reason, comes to the surface whenever we do searches, but not everything's on YouTube. There's other media
Right.
sources out there, different industries, especially whenever it's specific to where you live, which country, whatnot. Who knows what we're missing?
Yeah, and there's a lot of, just type out there as well, posts and that sort of thing from journalists and people who are contributing, as they said, on their end to the different outlets.
Right. So if you were a Jehovah's Witness and you're searching Jehovah's Witnesses in media, this is what they're hoping rises to the top.
Yep.
And I bet that we have a lot of that in our comments, like when we say like, oh, they're in the media because there's some child abuse going on and they're covering it up. Like we have the grand jury investigation in Pennsylvania. I'm sure you all are having people say, nuh-uh, that's not true, because they're seeing this instead.
Yeah, I've been really, really bored looking through all of the headlines that they put out. It's the same thing over and over and over again. It's almost like comedic. When you look it
Right.
up, it'll just be like, especially this summer, Jehovah's Witnesses come to your city for the convention. And it's like every local news station that a convention is coming to. They'll just be like, the convention's coming. It's going to boost our economy. Like, that's the only thing they can come
Yep.
up with.
Yeah. And I've noticed in doing this research, a lot of articles came up, which again, there was so much I wanted to share that I did not share. We might have to do this in another part. But a lot of these pieces were discussing how much money they're losing because the Jehovah's Witnesses chose to go to a different city because of issues with scheduling.
Mhm.
And that just made me realize how much these cities welcome it, because it's business for them. There's people eating out, there's people, buying merchandise, etc.
Right.
And that's why they get to do it, because they do add in that revenue. So of course they're going to be able to do stuff like this.
Mm-hmm. Right. You have the income means to do it.
So everybody come to Niagara Falls on September the 9th, and then we'll do an impact study that we spent $45 in Niagara, and it helps their economy.
There you go. And they'll want more apostates joining
That's right.
their
Exactly.
ranks. Do you want to move along into your next segment, Jonathan?
In a second. I was
Okay.
thinking I didn't include some of these clips because, I had to pick and choose, and it was getting late last night anyway. But it's funny when you watch some of them, you notice that they just seem very disinterested in what they're talking about. Like this got handed across their desk. But then you have the ones that it's just their job to be all sunny and morning show. And they're like, "Oh, this is great. Oh, isn't it? Yeah." It's just kind of hilarious to watch them play act like they're like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Mhm.
Like, you get a daytime Emmy there for pretending this is something you really are interested in.
They do look so disinterested though. Like his face, the first thing I thought about was like, sir, you do not want to be here. You do not want to be doing this. Like, how much are you getting paid?
Yeah. How much are you getting paid to be here? Nothing. Not
Nothing.
enough. Probably not hourly, probably, to do this.
He's like, they give me a roof over my head. That's all I get.
That's it. I know. But it is quite boring.
Okay. If there's more comments or anything, otherwise, you want to move to the next part?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to tell me when to stop, or if you want to just let it play, you let me know that.
Just let it play.
Okay.
Oops. Are you sick of having issues with your webinars?
I
Wasting
am.
tons of
I
time
am.
on trouble.
Absolutely.
I am sick of clicking the wrong button. Unfortunately, there we go. I made it too big. Okay, I guess we're gonna have to
Shooting
listen
with
to a second of
attendees.
this.
If so,
Maybe not. Okay, maybe not.
It was at 1 minute and
It was
47
beautiful
seconds if
work
you
that
want.
was accomplished
Thank you.
during
Yeah.
that return to in-person meetings and in-person memorial.
Global
Hundreds of
faith
businesses have
future
been
with
home
confidence.
for their door-to-door witnesses.
There we go.
There we go.
It is the powerful by faith convention of Jehovah's Witnesses. And right now, to talk a whole lot more about that is the U.S. spokesman for the Jehovah's Witnesses, Brother Robert Hendriks. Good afternoon, Robert Hendriks.
Thank you, Stacy. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
The Jehovah's Witnesses, Brother Robert Hendriks.
Brother Robert Hendriks.
Ding.
Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about a global campaign that's geared to help out each and everyone in the community around the world. We're also going to talk about the most important day in human history. Without any further delay, let's welcome on our very special guest that's going to talk about these subjects and more. And I'm so delighted to welcome back U.S. spokesperson with Jehovah's Witnesses, Aaron Purvis. Aaron, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing very well today. Thank you for having me, Paul.
And welcome. I'm Paul Lane. This is ABC News Radio KMED with our special coronavirus updates. Worshiping during this pandemic. Maybe you've heard it in the news about different organizations failing because of the restrictions that are going on in certain states. That's an assault on freedom of religion. But is that actually the case? What is one organization doing to make sure that they are still able to worship, but do it in a very, very safe way? I'm so happy to have with me right now U.S. spokesman for the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, Robert Hendriks. Robert, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you guys coming back on our airways to further our discussion about what the witnesses are doing to keeping their members safe during this pandemic.
Caleb and Sophia. Okay.
So there you go.
Yeah. Interesting. And do you want to also, can we put a little sidebar about we want to make sure we don't dogpile? I'll let you take that.
What?
Didn't you kind of had said to me behind the scenes, you want to make sure that we don't dogpile on any of these, people that were showing in our
Yeah,
clips.
because like they're doing their job,
Hmm.
and there is a bit of a conflict of interest in presenting yourself as a non-witness, hyping up the witnesses. It's like what's an example I was thinking of? Like if you're interviewing the KKK and secretly you're a member of the KKK, some people are going to kind of go like, what is up with that?
Right.
So what they're doing, I don't personally agree with, and I think that the viewers here would also not agree with, but they are still people, so we don't want to character assassinate anybody or anything like that. They're just people like anybody else. Are they doing what's right? I don't think so. I don't think it's a crime or anything, but it is unethical from a journalistic standpoint.
Agreed. 100%. So thank you for saying that, because we never want to bully or,
Right.
again, like dogpile on top of anybody, but we do just want to talk about the facts, and factually, this
Yeah.
really isn't fair presenting this as like some kind of news piece when
Right.
it, because it's coming from a news affiliate, right?
Exactly.
So that leads people to believe that this is sponsored by ABC. Wow, here's a news company saying about how great the Jehovah's Witnesses and that is. It is, and especially when it's even being paid for. I doubt that was free.
No.
Because I doubt that he owns that station. He just happens to be the guy on the. But that makes me wonder: was he put in that position somehow by the JWs, or was he just somebody who was in media?
I don't think so. In my Googling, I mean, I'm not a PI or anything, and I
Google
wasn't
master.
I'm not trying to dox anybody. I didn't put anything on there that isn't
Right.
readily
No.
available by a simple Google search, and I actually scratched one guy's name out. So I could see evidence of this person saying that, that he's a JW by context, but no mention that he's actually saying I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses, or in the clips where he's talking to Robert Hendriks, where he's saying, what are the JWs up to, and what are the Jehovah's Witnesses known for, and this and that, and throwing the softball questions that basically let Robert Hendriks have a talk on this broadcast. But at no point he's saying about his own faith as a Jehovah's Witness. That doesn't show up. And I couldn't find anything for the other guy either. Because usually if you're a public figure, you have like an IMDb or some sort of like credentials or something. I could find, by looking up, I could find what these person's spouses' names are, but I couldn't find anything saying they're one of Jehovah's Witnesses. So obviously they're not portraying themselves as such because they don't want it to look like there's a conflict of interest when there in fact is.
Right. Yep. 100%.
It would have been just so easy for them to be forthright when they were making this, and to just add in a way for him to say, I am a part of this faith and this has brought me comfort, and like segued in, like there would have been an easy way for him to be forthright, and they chose to go the other way.
Yeah, I agree. Wow, that's very informative.
And
Wow.
that's only two of those, like 1,400 media hits. So we don't know how many other journalists are out there doing the same thing.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I meant to highlight that. K. Fred said somewhere, what do they mean by media hits? Oh, I'm sorry. That was XJW Furious said. What do they mean when they say hits? Are they just saying the pieces they put out? It's been so long since I watched their video. I'm sorry, you guys. I actually kind of forget, and that's a really good question.
I thought it was the amount of traffic that came to the website, through like a link or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for explaining that. That is a really good point. Okay, so they're talking about directing traffic back into. Dang.
Which is like, if it's 2 months span, it was like what, 1,400 hits?
Yeah, it was something
like
over
that,
1,000. Yeah.
I'm like, it's not really.
It wasn't
It's
honestly super impressive, but
yeah, 700 a month for. I'm just saying.
No, for an organization that's purports to be 8 billion, or excuse me, 8 million. Wow, that would be a whole lot. That's not a lot of hits. Like, that's pretty weak. I feel like if we really tried, we could probably do that for ourselves.
most of those hits could be from us just like researching
Yeah,
on
that's true.
apostate topics.
Exactly.
Like
The apostates will
Exactly.
take the
You are
weekend off and
contributing.
just
You are
I go on their
contributing.
website quite a lot. I'm like, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm on there far too often, and I'm always worried about like the cookies. I'm like, oh God, what are they
yeah,
gonna
that's
do? Like,
relatively new.
Mm-hmm.
I never had to click, about cookie usage and all that sort of thing until maybe like a couple months ago.
Yeah, I don't like that very much.
I didn't even know, going back to the journalist thing, I had a thought. I didn't even know that you could be a witness and a journalist. I was going to school for that, and they told me to leave because that wasn't a good major to have as a Jehovah's Witness. So I had to
Mhm.
change it to computer science. So I'm just really shocked at the fact that they have witnesses that are journalists, or did they create them to be journalists and then hop on their channel? That's really weird.
Yeah, because I had the same thing. Like, that's kind of the stuff that I liked as a child, teenager, whatever. But it wasn't respectable. It wouldn't have been respectable for me to do. So that's how I'm wondering how this all happened. Because I mean, let's face it, they've got connections.
Well, they wouldn't want you to train to be a lawyer, but they sure would use your services.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the
Makes
fact
no
that he had that picture of Caleb and Sophia, people seem to they love that cartoon series. Well, as much as they can love a cartoon series, they seem to really enjoy it.
That's really true. I still get comments from people being like, I still let my kids watch Caleb and Sophia, or they still love it. And I'm like, I mean,
yeah, it's not good at all. It's
not good.
I you know what? That would be another great show to do. Sorry, maybe talking in the future, but get some clips of theirs and just show like what these kids are being taught and discuss it. Ugh.
But it's so
Right,
weird
honestly,
because.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's another form of their media. Like, that's another tool that they use, bringing people in, and that one's a shout out at people with children. And I remember when we started being advocated to show videos at the door, and like that stressed me out so bad. I never wanted to take up people's time like that, but there was a big push for that. Especially, it's like if you see someone has kids, you go straight to that. So like that's another tool for them as far as media goes.
Right. I just wanted to read this for those who are listening to and not actually watching. So Nigel says, a hit is any request to a web server each time a visitor downloads a page, clicks a hyperlink, views a graphic, or performs any other action on a website according to my search engine. We appreciate that. So just so we understand completely exactly what the Jehovah's Witnesses are hitting for. And also too, yeah, Caleb and Sophia, the only spark of joy that these kids are even allowed to have, and that's depressing. Yes, it really is, Darth, and it's good to see you here too. Oh, that is not what. Okay, wait, hold on. I'm sorry, but that is not what PID is meaning when they say hit. Come on, Ron. Give us a hit.
What they mean, Ron? What do they mean?
Put it on the table, Ron. Spill the
I
beans.
guess when you think about it, the JWs have their own lingo and their own meanings for words.
They always
and
do.
things,
So that actually
That's true.
does not like sound weird, because I can absolutely see that they've created their own little lingo for what a damn hit is. Do you want me to go into my clips? Because I can segment them, or do you want to stave that off for a bit?
Oh, Ron.
Scroll up. Hold on. Scroll up. Scroll up.
Yeah, there it is.
Published stories. They pitch stories. Published media is a hit. Oh, okay. See, that is completely different.
Yeah.
So that's how many stories they Now I wonder
Can
how
we
good
bring
those
Robert?
stories did.
Can we bring Robert here so he can clarify
Yeah,
what
no kidding.
hit means? I need answers.
Clarification, please. Thank you very much. We'd appreciate that. What are you
We
talking
can. You
about?
just got to get us out of the way. He's behind us.
Yeah, he's hidden back there.
Yeah. He's very quiet today.
Yeah, he's staring us down. If he could, that's what he'd be doing. I wonder if he'll watch this.
Oh, that'd be funny.
I feel like they
Robert.
watch all of our stuff, but anyway.
Anyway, I know.
We'll
they
pour out a
probably
drink for
do.
Ron Pimo. Promo.
That's the kind of hit they need, K. Fred. That is the kind of hit that they need.
That's the best kind of hit.
That is the best kind of
That's why they're
That's
all
my-
so uptight.
Listen, you can get through a
Right?
lot of meetings if
I would
Mhm.
imagine.
They just
Robert
need to
Hendricks,
go to the
what's
back.
the matter with you, baby?
Oh, that'd be a different kind of meeting. That'd definitely be a hot box.
Hot boxing.
Hot boxing. Oh, I hope Ray's not having trouble with
Uh-oh.
their camera. Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
no, you've been
You're back.
deconstructed.
You okay? Okay, good.
I
Good.
laughed too hard and then it pulled the cord out of the computer.
I had to get cordless because I would always like hit my mic and rip the plug out.
My amusement caused technical difficulties.
I'm a handsy person.
I'm gonna just stay still. Okay.
You have to pretend like you're at a meeting. Like, do you remember how still we had to sit? And I'm such a fidgety person. It was so hard. It was so hard for me to do.
I would get up and down.
Okay, everybody put on your meeting face. Boring speaker.
Wait, I'd have to be hunched over more.
I'd probably be asleep because I was in ASL, so I had to like watch.
You're like, I am not on camera.
I would just be like slowly just crossing my eyes. Now I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay, wait, were any of you guys still in the organization when they were doing Zoom? Like as soon as
Yeah.
COVID started?
Yeah.
No, nope. I had left just before that.
I was still
Yeah.
there. That was fun
Yeah,
times.
I think I left like a year after COVID started, but I watched the Zoom meetings for like a year. I would have myself just off screen.
I would play The Sims. While I was,
you?
I had two monitors, so I would just look at one, had the camera here. So
Were
they
you
would think that I,
Pimo?
No, I was just tired.
Wow.
I was just tired.
Wow.
I seen your status on the Discord. I know you're playing The Sims.
Yeah, you can see when I'm playing this.
Away playing Sims.
My kid gets on my my Xbox, so sometimes I'm playing something too, and I'm not.
Do they ever discuss The Sims? Like, be careful about like what you do in the Sims world.
All they talk
That would be
about
funny.
That'd be funny if they did. I'm still gonna play
Yeah.
The Sims.
But I'm sure people do things in Sims that they wouldn't do.
Oh, you could do a lot of things in Sims that they would not want you to do, but I'm still gonna play it. My girl was woohooing, and they were talking. They was having a talk about, no sex before marriage. I said,
Oh,
that is
right.
crazy.
My Sims is gonna get it on. I don't care.
She getting it on right now, but okay.
Oopsies. Oh, that's so funny. I was just curious, wondering, because I just remember the boring talks, but back in my day, it was more like about music. I'm sure they still talk about music, but they didn't have social media. So a lot of times it was like music and bands they'd focus on, or maybe even MTV, like music, television. They didn't like you watching that because of what they portrayed on there. I was just curious if because I know they have issues with a lot of video games. I've heard people being told they had to get rid of certain video games, and maybe even you were told that at some point. But yeah, I wonder, because that is kind of like a reality. It's not reality, obviously, but you're doing real things. So does that cross the line for them?
Oh, I just didn't talk about it. Sometimes you just got to keep some things to yourself. So,
Which is probably the smart thing to do, which is really evident in their
if you don't want to stumble,
they'll call people out. So
that's the whole culture of it. Like, you can't really open up or trust anyone around you genuinely, because you're not sure what's going to bother them. It could be anything. And it could be the same person flip-flopping on the same issue and be like, well, now I feel guilty about that. Like, so you just never tell your friends anything you're doing or watching, like,
Right.
if you don't fully
Yeah.
trust them.
Yep. I'm
And
realizing. No, go ahead, Jonathan. Go ahead.
As you say, and speaking of not trusting, the PID.
Yeah, right. But I just find that like I've had very disingenuous relationships with people because I've not been able to be honest because I didn't know how to be honest. And I'm realizing now that what I've been struggling with is how to express myself and feel comfortable and feel safe. Like I know that not every place is like a safe space to just, talk to people and tell everybody your deep dark secrets, but being more genuine with what you actually feel with what you think you're supposed to say because of how you've been trained. So it's really hitting me now, and I'm, getting to be a place in my life where like, damn, I'm just learning this now, how to be that I wasn't being very genuine. Like it seemed genuine, but like kind of discovering who I am now. It's really wild, y'all. It's really wild. And you kind of have to grieve a little bit with what you've lost and what you could have done. And there's just so much, there's just a lot there, which I'm sure you've all.
Repression.
Yes. Yes. I mean,
like
from
unpacking
what I
that,
wear, everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
I'm
process.
sure you are.
Yeah.
It is a
Me,
process.
me and my therapist have a lot of interesting conversations. And every time I think that I finally got that JW thing out of me, I don't think like that anymore. And then we just had a session Thursday and she was like, you're still having a hard time trusting people. You don't know how to trust, you know? And it's just like, she's like, and you don't know how to trust yourself. And I'm like, I wonder why.
Huh. Yeah, right? Because you, like the people who you should have been able to be honest with, your parents, and that's even going to come up in like a clip. I'm going to key in on something, but you should be able to have genuine conversations with your parents. You should be able to trust, they should be able to trust you, but that's not how the relationships work. And I love my parents, but I was not able to be honest with them because if I was honest with them, it would always boil down to, don't you want to worship Jehovah? Don't you want to live forever with us? So it doesn't matter what I think or feel. I've got to just suck it up and do the right thing that the organization wants me to. So there was just times where I just found myself just like closing in and like, there's no point in even talking about this, telling anybody, you just eat it. And that's not a really good way to live. And you find yourself disconnected with people. Again, now learning how to have real, genuine conversations. It's a trip. It's a damn freaking trip. Yes, it's great being your genuine self. Yeah, that's why I don't trust the PID either.
I don't trust because they've been lying the entire time. Like every time the clip pops up, I'm like, that's not true. And to me, I'm like, you do know jw.org exists, right? You can find contradictions to what he's saying on PID on jw.org. I was like, it's a quick Google search. So I don't know why he's so I don't know why they're lying. I guess they don't think people will look.
Yeah.
They're hoping people are too lazy to actually do the research.
Or this is really just media for Jehovah's Witnesses to say, oh, look how real this
Honestly,
is.
Yeah, to keep the bad things away from witnesses is really the main point. Like they said, pushing theirs to the top, pushing apostates to the bottom, that benefits people that are already members kind of more so than like bringing people in, I would think. Because it keeps them from seeing the things that are going to detract them. Whereas an article that's like, ooh, the convention's coming to town, they know that that's not going to really like bring in new members. So really the goal is like suppressing from current members.
But I thought the news media was used by Satan. So
scary.
Yeah, that was the TikTok she brought up that I made. That was the point that I was making in it. I brought up each article side by side where they say Satan is in control of the media. Satan controls this world, therefore it's media. He is in control. And then they go ahead and just amplify use of it. So Like it's very hypocritical when you can lay it out like that.
Yep. So
Exactly.
true. Do you want me to get into some more clippity clips? Do you
Yeah, let's
think?
do it.
Okay, y'all. I'm gonna pull us out, add this back in, and
Robert
let's
does not
give it a
approve.
roll. Damn you, Robert.
Don't say.
And please again let me know if the sound is okay. It should be, but here we go.
Welcome back. And we now welcome back Robert Hendriks. He is the national spokesperson for Jehovah's Witness. It's been about a year since we've seen each other, Robert. Thank you so much for being back.
Yes, Betsy, a lot has happened in this year. It feels like a decade since we last talked, but thank you for having me back.
Yeah, good to see you. And you're right. So much has happened.
So I'm just going to pause that for a second so you all can see. I screenshot when these were posted, but if you take a look at what they're wearing, it's exactly the same clothes. He's in the exact same spot with whatever set or green screen, whatever he's using, but I'm pretty sure that's all the same day, but released 2 months, 4 months, 6 months ago from the same channel.
Happened.
So they
It
clearly
does feel like a little bit
contracted
longer
for
than that, but we're going to
multiple.
jump in today. Last time you were here, we were still talking about the fact that you were virtual because we were still.
No, I guess that could kind of lead into my next question. Why are mixed marriages not uncommon for Jehovah Witnesses?
You know, as Jehovah's Witnesses, I think the Pew Research Center says we are the most diverse religion in the United States. So it just makes sense that when you live together, when you grow up together, making that leap to an interracial marriage is rather just natural because, you know, as you, the problem.
This is an injustice. Look at all this. Should bricks be thrown through our windows just because we work here, Winston? Should our people be met with violence in the street just because of the color of our skin? You're just going to let them do this to you?
I want to turn the other cheek, Maxwell.
Why? So they can slap you again. You need to stand up. This is the only way. We can make a difference.
My Lucille was horribly mistreated at work because of the color of her skin.
And he spit in my face.
All this hatred, discrimination, it is only going to get worse in these last days, Lucy.
What going, Winston?
Everything Irie, Maxwell. And a good morning.
Is it good? You decide to do something, brother?
Yes. I know exactly what I'm going to do. Let me show you how Jehovah will put an end to injustice.
And all of a sudden, all you've got is one view.
So we can pause there if you want to. That was a lot of info that we might want to break some down. If not, we can continue on. But
let's talk about what we've seen.
Yeah, so Ron says, I never caught that before. Nice catch, Ryan. Are you talking about the batch recording? Because I was like, and then I think what kind of ticked me off is she introduces it as, oh, hey, welcome back, Robert Hendriks. We haven't seen you for a year.
Yeah.
It was
Meanwhile,
so forced.
Right.
You're like, you haven't?
Nice acting.
Okay, we were wondering how
you
long
sure
it had
about
been.
that?
I'm wearing my
You
annual
sure about
dress. Must be your annual suit.
That's funny.
Yeah. And what else about that?
It was a lot.
It
Nina,
was.
I think the most interesting part is the talking about the civil rights era and trying to choose words carefully. Trying to portray that as we have to just remain neutral. It kind of gives off the message that, you know, Jehovah's Witnesses or the governing body was okay with the results of segregation. Because it was the fact that people weren't neutral and weren't passive that these new laws were created so that we could all be more equal. So if everybody were to remain neutral during that era, we would still be dealing with segregation today. And when the witnesses are like, that's okay. That's okay.
Exactly.
It's not.
Like,
No.
they're willing to just always say, let whatever happens happen. Like, it's in Jehovah's hands and that's all. Like, no matter what the subject is, they'll just be like, we don't need to mess with that at all. We don't need to do anything.
Right.
Just sit there.
But if society continues to deteriorate, like we see right now, that could leave Jehovah's Witnesses vulnerable. Just because what we have today it's not guaranteed for tomorrow. So they're asking you to passively they're asking us to be passive, not do anything, and just let be what it is to be. But meanwhile, they are duking it out in the court systems, in Satan's evil, wicked court system. They have no problem standing up for what they consider to be their rights, right? I mean, they make it clear about that one big case that they helped win. I think it was something about being able to go door to door. I don't remember. I apologize, you guys. Having the right to knock on your neighbor's doors is how they presented it, something like that. It doesn't make sense to me. It's very ironic and it's super hypocritical.
But I mean, thinking about it, like, remember that, I don't know if you guys were still in at this time, but there was a period where they asked every witness to write a letter to, who was it? Russia? To the Russia presidents,
Putin.
to get them to back off of the witnesses there. And we were urged to write a letter, find these international stamps, and send those letters, send multiple letters.
Right.
And we clogged their whole system over there. But I find that form of activism, because that is exactly what it is okay. But when it comes to other things, you know, especially like I know with like the Black Lives Matter movement, you know, I was still in at that time. However, I have family and friends who aren't witnesses who can be affected by the things that they are trying to protest. But they told me and other Black Jehovah's Witnesses that you're a JW first and you're African American second. And I never felt right about that, because whether I'm JW or not, the first thing that people see when they see me, the first thing they see is I'm a Black woman. They don't know that I'm a witness.
Yes.
That makes no sense. You know?
Exactly.
So it's just weird how their lines are very, very blurry.
Right. And the thing is they're benefiting from all these rights because they use theirs to fight, right? And they've gotten these rights somehow off the backs of somebody, you know, and they don't mind using them. But when it's everybody else and their freedoms, just sit back, relax.
Just
Jehovah's
sit back
at the
and
wheel.
just sit back and walk 10 blocks to the colored bathroom. Because you can't go into, like, come on, my grandmother had to deal with that. Like, so they were okay with that? You're okay? Like, that makes no sense to me. That there's no unity in that.
That isn't unity.
And in line with Tammy G's comment, they're portraying in that drama that, you know, what are you going to do about it? Well, I'm just going to read this Bible and I'm just going to wait on Jehovah. And I'm just going to actually just grow old and die living under those same conditions because I didn't do anything. If everybody
That's
did that,
what you're expected to
like
do.
you were saying, you know, you'd still be having those conditions because nobody fought for it.
Yep. That's what passive is.
What a paradox, right? Like, what a freaking conundrum you're putting people into. It's detestable. It really is frustrating. It's upsetting. It's degrading. It's dehumanizing. I mean, we could make a list of everything it is. But it's, honestly, it's really enslaving people, but just in a different way, because those witnesses are enslaved to that organization and they're just supposed to throw their cares of everything else into the world.
And that's how it's always been. Even in slavery days, they allowed Black people to have books, but they would take, like, they would allow them to have Bibles, not books. And they weren't allowed to read, but you could read the Bible. And they would take certain passages out and keep certain
Yep.
passages in. And you were just expected, like, yeah, you have a hard life, but turn the other cheek. That's okay. Like, it's not.
Right. The slavery Bible. I've seen it is legalized slavery,
It is.
but the slaves Bible is disgusting. It's ridiculous. It's a stripped down, dripping with misogyny, hatred, submission. It's really bad the way it's chopped and screwed. And that's why it was one of the only things that people were allowed to read, is because it would just keep you in that mindset of, be humble. You'll get yours in the whatever the frick the heck comes after
You'll get
this,
it in the future. You'll always look to
Right.
the future. It'll get better in the future.
Don't worry about now. Just do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Because the sooner you do it, you're going to get that reward. So keep your nose to the grind, kid. Knocking on those doors. Oh, God, it makes me want to rage. Sorry. It really just makes me want to rage. Okay. How about we hop back into some more of these clips, because we're going to get a little bit further into how they use these dramatizations to just calm people into nothingness, into driveling babies, basically infantilizing them. All right, here we go.
View of the world.
Oopsie.
One color in the world, one language in the world. But when you grow up as a Jehovah's Witness, it's so typical for you to be growing up with brown, black, all sorts of colors, all sorts of languages. This was a community, and we grew up in that community. That community loved one another, and at you didn't see people in color or language. You saw them for who they were inside. And even though in many ways Jehovah's Witnesses are very much the same when it comes to our beliefs, right? We still embrace each other's culture. We still love that about each other, and we don't want to homogenize that. And I think that's something to be celebrated. And that's
a second area in which we need to protect our unity is culture. Jehovah's organization is diverse. We love to be introduced to different kinds of food, different styles of dress, and interesting customs. How wonderful. But what if we started feeling that my race, my tribe, my ethnicity, my culture is superior? Can you see how that kind of thinking would divide us? To preserve our unity, we need to focus not on how we are different from one another, but how we are the same. We are Jehovah's Witnesses first, not African, Asian, North American, South American, or European. Our people are our spiritual family.
And it says in verse 3, it says to treat others as superior.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there for a moment, because that really touched on what you said, Ray, about you're a Jehovah's Witness first. Nothing else comes before that, a Jehovah's Witness first. And that means parent. That's everything. That's what you put first. You're nothing without without putting the organization first.
And the part that confuses me, in all of that and what he said, in like your culture and your like style of dress or how you present, it's like, what's wrong with expressing that and having some, just slight pride, not even in a buff, like, oh, I'm better than you. Sorry, I'm thinking ASL brain, but more of like, I'm just happy about my culture. And I just want to show that. Can't we just appreciate them and their culture and still be united? I don't know if that makes any sense.
Right. Why does it have to be suppressing your
Yeah.
culture is the way that you create this unity. But it's really conformity. It's not, you're not united. You're making everybody conform down to this, and it's going to get worse, trust me. But you're making everybody conform to this whitewash version of themselves. You're not an individual. You're just part of the flock.
Not everybody is.
Oh, you're
going
muted,
to-
Kenzie. Would you say? Sorry.
You know, I was gonna say the only time that they don't do that is when they're trying to put out good press as it relates to an international convention. If you've noticed, everyone they encourage you to wear like whatever is culturally appropriate for you, so that they can look like this crazy, like organized but international group that comes together, and it's like good PR for them to express that they have different cultures in their group. That's the only time that they push for that.
Right. Sorry, Jonathan, what were you saying? Did you have something to...
I was just saying that not everybody's going to fit into that 1950s white America sort of grooming and dress, but that's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, like you were saying, it's an international convention. I'm like, hey, look, diversity. Haha.
See,
go ahead and try and wear that stuff to your regular meeting. They'll be like, no.
Yeah,
but if you listen to what...
Go ahead.
No, I was just, if you listen to what Sanderson says, he kind of really explains. We love culture, we love clothes, and we love food.
Yeah.
And that's it. But we only love the clothes and the food. Well, at least the clothes at the conventions.
I have a little bit of an interesting experience with this because I was a part of a stage show that we did for International Convention. It was.
My. Can I get your autograph?
It was called Evening Gathering. I was kind of famous at the time. So it was a stage show we put on for all of the delegates that came into Phoenix International Convention. We were in Symphony Hall doing shows for a full week. Like, it was a huge production. Yeah, but I feel like I got a look at like the way that they will use culture when it's beneficial to them. And I had someone reach out to me on TikTok who was an ex-witness, and they got to see that show, and they told me like, I saw it and I was like horrified by the pandering and the way that cultures were being appropriated and used. Like, the show was about like brotherhood or like being united all over the world. And I'm a dancer, so I was in like several of the dances. They would ask me to do an Irish dance and dress in this Irish costume, and I was like, I don't know anything about the culture. I don't want to. I don't know how to Irish dance, but like, they did that in every single part of the show. And people who watched it were like, this is an advertisement and you're using people's cultures. Like, it's kind of makes me sick to think about now.
Wow.
But yeah, it was bad. It was pretty bad.
Oh my gosh.
Only celebrate
not
culture
shocked,
when
but-
it brings you something.
Yeah.
Right. When you can use it as a prop, right? You can turn people into props, and then you can use them as propaganda on these shows. But realistically, just like Sanderson said, this is, they expect conformity. I put up a bunch of just straight from their website about what they really think about the way people dress. And they called them costumes. They're not costumes. That's not what, that's clothes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, the way we dress is Americanized, Eurocentric kind of colonial business attire. When you go to the Kingdom Hall, right? Like, that's what you're wearing. You're wearing business attire. And even one of their jw.org articles, they say like how you present yourself is good, like when you're in a business situation, for interview and things. Well, are we going out on interviews door to door? Is that Is that what, are we going on interviews when we're going to the Kingdom Hall? No, but it's a business. So that's how we dress. So it's modern. It's just a different kind of modernity. It's colonialism. It's capitalism.
My ancestors have
Sorry
been
to
wearing
rant.
these t-shirts for hundreds of years, so I feel like I'm doing the right thing.
The Apostate Coalition.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, mind-boggling, right? That's it's infuriating, some of the stuff that he's saying. But being a JW first, and my friend Jason had mentioned something like that on a TikTok or an interview about how you're a Jehovah's Witness first, and it really hit me, just how you're portrayed. Everything is all just visuals. Everything you do is just about visuals to the organization, and I hate being a pawn.
It like strips away a layer of humanity because they want you identified as one thing. That's it. You're just a Jehovah's Witness.
And that's a really true statement when it comes to a lot of things, because you think about being a parent. Nope, you're a Jehovah's Witness first.
Yeah.
You can't talk to your child because you're a Jehovah's Witness first.
Right. Yeah. Good point. Like with shunning and disfellowshipping, it's all about putting the organization and their instruction first, not even God first.
That's the kicker. Not even God first.
No, doesn't matter what the Bible says. It's what they think the Bible says, what they translate it to say. Yeah, JWs are robots.
They are robots. Oh my God.
They are. Are you guys okay if we hop back in to get these clips?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to rewind it just a scotch, I think, or at least I'm going to try to. Okay, there we go.
Our people are our spiritual family.
And it says in verse 3, it says to treat others as superior to you. Treat others as superior to you. That means there's no place for ethnocentrism. Yes, we're proud of who we are. We're proud of our heritage, but we don't lift that above others. We don't elevate country or ethnicity or language. We elevate the person. And if you start looking at a person as superior to you, you're going to look for the qualities where that person is actually better than you. And when you do that, you want to serve them because that's what humility is all about. You want to learn from them. And in a marriage...
Growing up in the South, during the time of segregation, blacks and whites, we couldn't mix. And not only that, they had signs to keep you knowing where you're supposed to go. I liked some of the things that they was doing, but they trained us every day in military training, learn how to use weapons and stuff like that. And so I'm thinking like, this is not what I want to be in. This is not what I enjoy. So I started going back to God again, to reading the Bible, because it's like, I'm not changing anything. The Bible, only God and his government can bring about peace. Just like how Jehovah unified everybody, I would like for everybody to be unified and come to know Jehovah, just like I know him. Jehovah.
Yeah. So there's that. It's just so frustrating how they oversimplify everything, to oversimplify segregation, to oversimplify everything. I'm assuming that was their rendition of the Black Panthers.
They're at their weekly meeting at doing their being hard training.
The thing is a well-organized militia, right? Isn't that what people are, gung-ho about, their well-organized militia? And it's really unfair seeing all the great programs that the Black Panthers introduced, like into the school systems and things of that nature. They did so many wonderful things that the government and Christians just tore down. So to boil what the Black Panthers were doing all down to the fact that they were doing some military training to protect themselves, it hurts my heart. It just hurts my heart.
I think during that time period, there were like 3 groups of people. You had the Martin Luther Kings, who want change, but in a peaceful way.
Mhm.
You have Malcolm X way, where it is we want change, we want peace, but we have to fight for it.
Mm.
And then you have what that woman, that sister, whoever did in the video, which is you turn to God and let him handle it, and you
Mhm.
do nothing.
Right.
Which one of those actually brought about change?
Yeah.
Only 2 out of the 3. So it's like
It wasn't reading the Bible. Reading the Bible wasn't what brought change, because in fact, people who were enslaving people, as we discussed earlier, even took pages out of the Bible to use the Bible as a weapon. I mean, you could use it as is, but how disingenuous how they approached that and portrayed that and just made it like, oh, only violence and Jehovah's Witnesses aren't violent. And that it isn't the only way that change happens. You know, change can happen from, just simply discussing things and educating people, but not just looking at a Bible. That's not gonna do it. That's not what happened. People had to take their rights. People weren't given rights. People had to like physically go and fight for them. They never gave anybody anything. What?
And it's like, it's such a contradiction too, because again, he kept saying that we don't want to be better than others. We want to view others as superior. We don't want to talk down to others, but they consider themselves to be superior to other faiths?
What?
Isn't that
Exactly
portrayed in their literature?
Mhm.
That all false religion, those in Christendom, are going to be just in just the way, like, so that does have some type of superiority there, but you're not supposed to do
Right.
that. It's like,
Exactly.
it makes no sense. It's another contradiction.
Yeah. A huge one. It really is a huge contradiction. And, people could easily the society could easily just slip back into some form of that latter. And what? The Jehovah's Witnesses will just sit back and let it happen. They'll segregate their churches again because they were segregated before. So they're saying that could easily happen again, and they're okay with that.
Just following the secular authorities.
Right. Except for when it behooves them to fight back.
Yep.
Yeah, it affects them. Now they're ready to fight back.
I agree with you. Not doing anything, it makes you complicit. And that's not how change happened. And those dramatizations with like Maxwell and Winston and with that lady, and I'm not trying to bash on that lady whatsoever. She had her own decisions to make, but there is a happy in between. There is a happy medium. Like, you don't have to do all of that. You can do other things that are a form of activism that don't require you to harm, and you could still even read the Bible. Like, imagine that. You could still be a Christian and use your voice and not be doing something wrong, but according to the Jehovah's Witness organization. Satan's evil, wicked system, yes. Makes sense.
Unless it affects them, it does not matter. So.
100%. So I have one clip left. Are you guys okay for time, or do you need to get going? Because it has been an hour.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay. So it's a couple clips put together, but the last segment, I guess I should say.
I think, first of all, children need to understand, teenagers need to understand, and parents need to understand what bullying is. We have a worksheet, How to Silence a Cyberbully, And that worksheet on jw.org, you can download and it will define what's happening to you. Is it really bullying? And here's why that's important to define it. Because criticism is not bullying. Being angry at somebody and lashing out at somebody is not necessarily bullying. And if a child can learn what that is and how to deal with that, those are lifelong skills that they take into the workplace, that they take to college, wherever they go.
Brothers, thank you for considering this matter regarding Brother Brown and the impact that his family situation is having on the congregation. I asked you, brothers, to review his qualifications as an elder. After we spoke, and Brother Brown had an opportunity to explain to me some of the decisions that he's made for his family. I'm aware that you brothers have considered this matter before, but since then, another one of Brother Brown's daughters have enrolled in a school for higher education, which raises questions as to how this affects the congregation. When we make decisions, it's important that we consider the conscience of the congregation as well as the elder body.
Okay, so that is all that I have. And trust me, there was so much more that I wanted to add to that. But again, like this is already an hour. And I wanted to try to be respectful of your time. But there was another clip where they talk about the sanctity and the sacredness of life, and yet they're letting children die. They're saying like, oh, how important life is, oh, we got to save precious life. It's so sacred. Yet they'll let kids die, not letting them have blood transfusions. People pass away because they lose their family members to disfellowshipping, etc. So to me, the organization's actions, they're the ones who are bullying people. They are, in fact, the bully.
Yeah, they should absolutely not be speaking on bullying. Not at all.
They have no room to speak.
No, like, especially because this piece was geared towards, when you talk about bullying, you're gearing it towards teenagers, really. And so then if you look at how teenagers are treated in the organization, you're not going to look to them as a good example at all. The fact that people can be shunned, that a teenager can be shunned, like that in the first place is one thing. But like further than that, like culturally within the group, they decide whether or not they want to hang out with people based on like, they'll say there can still be bad associates even in the congregation. So you have to watch out for everybody. So they're like keeping an eye on each person and telling you to decide whether you feel like you can spend time with them or not, even if they're in like technically good standing. So it's ultimately coming down to bullying by just like deciding whether you will not spend any time with someone for no reason. And I've known someone that took their life at 15 because of that. So it's hard to watch them talk about things that they should not be speaking on, like bullying.
Right. They have no room to stand on when it comes to their treatment of their members. There is a group of elites. This organization has people who, like Ron Pomo is saying, Hendriks is well educated. He's born and raised at JW, and in his professional life, he owned private schools and consulted with school districts and colleges, right? So there's different expectations for the people who hold power. But if it comes down to, our rights as wives of a JW, like our rights to our bodies, the rights that we might need to fight for in the court systems, whatever, what have you. Like, we're not allotted the same freedoms that these elites, these men are given. And as somewhere I saw Tammy say that, shoot, I don't think I'll be able to find it now. But the governing, right here, look at the makeup of the governing body panel. It shows who is superior, very insulting and hypocritical. We're not going to see reflections of us, Kenzie and Ray, right? Like there's not going to be, maybe Jonathan, but there's not going to be us reflected in that. But the culture that they show to the world is not the actual culture. It's all lies. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm over the PID.
I think that
Me too.
I think that the main thing that like upsets me about the PID and like just in general, the entire thing, is that they don't, all of the members that are within the group don't necessarily know about the PID, right? Because they have kind of that structured information tier where like you might not know about like what they teach in Pioneer School if you didn't go or whatever. So if you tell a witness like about the PID, they'll be like, oh, that's just above my whatever. So there's this entire group of people in a department there, and their entire job is to like push down news stories. And they've like introduced themselves. They're like, here's who's a part of the PID. This is all the faces. And, you know, all of these people are having a part in this. And they have to just kind of suppress that or like go through what, like, I can't imagine being a witness having an assignment like that and how they're able to handle like seeing what they see and pushing those news stories down, like, and they're just able to go about doing it. I don't know.
Right? Like, where's your mind at? Like, what are you thinking? What
I would
is
love
it just
to
the
know.
cognitive dissonance? I would love to know too. I really would. I mean, we have people who've left who were asked to do some things that eventually led to them waking up like, wait a minute, this is like, eventually they get pushed past that point. But some people, you could just push them over the edge. I fear sometimes what this organization could ask of people that they would just maybe do. Don't know.
I could see them doing that.
I mean, I would hope not, but it's a possibility.
The level of blind obedience that they have, anything is possible, really. Like they
It
can get
truly
people
is.
to do just about anything at this point.
Yeah.
Some things that you hear may not make sense from a human standpoint.
Well, I think that kind of keys into the bite model, and I really just think they kind of use the bite model, but just in reverse. You know, they just know like, oh, this is what we should do, and you know, that behavioral control. They can control your behavior, and in that clip, he mentioned that if you see somebody, if you humble yourself to see somebody else as superior, that puts you in a position to learn from them. Is that how you would word that? Is that how you learn from people? Submitting yourself to them? I'm not sure about that. You sure about that?
No. That's not how I learn.
I don't think so. Like, treat me like a human being. Treat me like an individual. Give me some agency of myself. Let me be an individual. Is that so wrong?
No, you have to have the new personality. And you have to be like this. And if you don't, you're going to have a meeting like that guy with the elders.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to, I only played that small clip. That was one of the leaked videos that came out recently from Pimo Bethel.
Warwick Pimo?
Yes, thank you. And
Something like that.
That video was much longer. But I just wanted to show that clip because Hendriks mentions about college. Yeah, y'all tell people that college is not good. You say it's from Satan's system. You tell people not to go to school. You know, you only look for specific people that you allot to go to school. And that's only so that way you can help the organization with your skills for free. But Yeah, I do think that the go bags is a sign of something. What? I don't know. And I'm hoping that it doesn't come to that.
I feel like if they get somebody who is a lawyer who comes to the meeting and introduce themselves, that an elder is like on the line, hey, guess what? We've got one.
We got another one.
Keep at it. We got to convert him.
Ugh. Could you
Yeah,
imagine?
probably.
That's probably what they do.
I mean, how else? Like, they need people with certain skill sets, but they will require people that were born in and like in it forever. You're not going to be able to do that. So it has to be like from converts. You have to get people in with the skill sets that you need.
Yeah.
But a lot of converts, a lot of people aren't joining the Jehovah's
I would think.
Witnesses. It's like, I know they say they're growing, but their growth is actually it's declining. You know, a lot
They have
of
a lot of turnover.
they have a lot of, because people are starting, the internet is really just not their friend. There's so much information you can get, and it's causing people to second guess. There's people who have messaged me who have stopped studies.
Really?
There's people who, like, their whole families have left. It's like people are starting to learn and wake up and see this organization for its hypocrisy, which makes them no different than the Christendom that they criticize. So it's like,
And
The whole
that's the
religion.
entire point of the PID, because they're like, I mean, how are we going to combat this? We have to join in. And it goes back to the rights thing as well, because they're like, well, we wouldn't fight for that. But with this, they're like, well, we're going to have to take part in theocratic warfare because the internet is beating us to a pulp.
I thought it was Jehovah who handles the theocratic warfare part. So now it's the organization.
They were never designed to be an internet age religion. They were just designed to be something you look at their books that's sitting in your house, and that's it.
That's really true.
Thank you, Ron. And that is true. Sorry, I'm trying to highlight it, but another. I really do appreciate seeing all these new faces. Yeah, and the faces who've been out there. I just love seeing everybody. I try to follow people as quickly as I can find them. Bring them into the fold. Apostates unite. But you know, it really does help, because when someone searches, I'd prefer that our faces pop up rather than Robert Hendriks' face. You know, especially when he's paying. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not putting money into Google ads and all that kind of cheesy stuff too.
So if we keep working at it, we can bury all those horrible puff pieces and bring all those wonderful apostate stories up to the top.
Exactly.
That's the
brother.
goal.
That is the goal. Sheesh. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to make note of or promote? Anything like that? I don't want to keep anybody. I mean, I'm more than happy to talk, but I want to again make sure that I'm being respectful of your time. I'll talk to y'all all day about this stuff.
I'm hiding from my kids in the car. I'm happy to stay out here.
All right, yeah.
Any second, I expect
Sorry,
to
kids.
hear bam, 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 mommy, mommy, mommy.
Yeah.
Come get, please.
They're inside with my husband. I should say that. They're being watched. I didn't abandon them.
They're not just in there raging and roaming.
No, you never know. Like, someone's like, oh my God, she left her kids alone.
Hey, you know, you don't know anymore.
The internet.
Ever. I mean, hey, you don't know ever. Not just anymore, but ever.
Tammy G wants to know how they can reach you.
Okay, so you can contact me at, I mean, I wish you could join our Discord, Tammy. Tammy, please join the Discord. But you can contact me at piousplacebo@gmail.com. There, I'll put it into the, oh, it came up as I don't know, whatever. It worked. But there you go. Did I spell it right? Yes, I did. Wow, that's amazing.
That was perfect timing.
Was I going to say something? I feel like I was going to say something. Damn it. Now
I
I don't
have something to
remember.
say.
No, please say.
I just thought about something. So, a comment I get all the time on TikTok is that I'm bullying the organization.
Right, yeah,
Right?
you're the bully, I'm sure.
I heard I'm bullying them, raw. So what's something that's so interesting that he said in one of his things? He said that criticism is not bullying.
Yes.
Which means all of us, even this channel, we're critiquing, criticizing the organization. We're not bullies.
Mm-mm.
We're not
Exactly.
bullies. We're not attacking. We're just presenting information. It came from jw.org itself. There we go. Yay!
I'm glad you brought that up because I did put that in there for that reason, to show that what we are doing is not harmful. We're just bringing awareness. And just like they do the same thing to their members in their publications and their propaganda, we are doing the very same thing. We're taking our freedoms seriously and using our abilities to speak to people just like they use their freedoms that they fought for in the court systems to knock on people's doors and tell them their truth, which is all just cloak and dagger, switcheroo, not the truth whatsoever. And oh, you know what, Ray, I wanted to say I also appreciated your video that I saw this morning. I don't know if it, when you put it out, but just about ways in which you can engage with Jehovah's Witnesses if you really want to engage with them. That will get them critically thinking and not feeling as if you're on the attack, because once you flip that little switch, they're just, being persecuted, and
cognitive
that's not gonna
kicks in.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really nice video. I know XJW Diaries, he does a lot of videos on YouTube, and it was such an informative one that I was like, have to share this, because how often do we get asked, what do I do? My spouse is still in, my cousin is still in, my sister. So I just said, let's just make a video addressing how you can talk to your family members. And if all of those things fail, then just live your life and be happy, because that's the best proof that what they believe and say about people who leave is false. So
Mhm. Be the example. And that's, I think that's what I'm trying to, like, I kind of step back for a little bit and I'm trying to take that into account. And I want to make sure that, like, that's evident. I want to make sure that it's evident that this is the best life. Having freedom is the best life. Not being controlled. That's the best life. Mm-hmm.
And they're starting to realize it. A lot of people are waking up right now. I've had 5 friends that I know personally wake up.
Have you, Ray?
Just randomly hit me up.
That is honestly amazing. That gave me chills. That's
I was
so
like,
awesome.
Even one of my close old JW friends followed my TikTok. I was like,
say what?
That is the best thing ever when that happens.
Yes.
It really is.
Let's go.
I really wish some of my old friends would wake up.
Yeah,
So-
I only have 1 or 2
that are still in.
I only know 1 or 2 people that have woken up.
Okay.
Like, hardly know anybody at all, and no one in my family.
Wow.
Yeah.
It may happen. I'm just saying, it's a lot of information, and a lot of witnesses are tired. It's not even about the apostate information. They're just generally just tired from the workload, and they just don't want to do it anymore.
That's
Most of
super
them.
true. But
The whole thing is a drag.
I also just think that I don't see how it's, like, for longevity's sake, I don't see how it's set up that, like, 10 years ago, I couldn't imagine, like, being in and seeing old friends have their bio as, like, XJW activist or something. If I even heard the term XJW activist, I'd be like, activist against what? What do you mean? Like, it's just everywhere. Like, we're spreading it everywhere. Too many people are seeing it. Like, I don't see how it can keep, I don't know.
How you can keep it down. I think, honestly, there's a huge portion of the friends that I grew up with that are no longer JWs. And I don't know that they've deconstructed.
Yeah.
I've not really touched on that. I know a
Yeah.
few of them have. I know a few of them have because they're Facebook friends of mine, and some of my posts that they've commented on, I'm like, oh, they're awake. They're awake. They know what it's hitting
Yeah.
for. But
Yeah.
some of them are still like afraid, and I think they still are in that, like, I just can't get it right. Like they're in that
Right.
blame mode instead of leaving.
That is
And there's
such a
nothing you
rough
can do.
distinction. Like, I've accidentally talked to people who are just not active in the organization anymore and been like, oh yeah, and I'll start to say something negative about the organization, and they'll just shut up, and they'll be like,
Yes, I've
I
had
mean,
that
I'm gonna
happen.
go back eventually, like I'm just inactive or whatever it is. So you're like, oh, you're not deconstructed, you're just not active. Got it.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And there is a big difference with that. And even though their behaviors make it seem as though, because they're living a normal life now, what I would
Yeah.
say they're living a normal life,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean they're out of that indoctrination, because I've said a few things, and unfortunately I think I've upset one of my friends by what I've said, so I'll have to table some of those discussions and probably just not talk about it at all, unfortunately, unless somebody else brings it up. Because I don't think I don't want to drive a wedge. I don't need to, unless they ask me. I'm just going to let it be. Otherwise, it's just going to be seen as maybe bullying, possibly. They might not see it as critiquing. They might see it as bullying, unfortunately. So not worth it.
Yeah, deconstruction is really important. I know, like, one friend, she went back when things started getting crazy in her life. She needed to go back to something that was familiar. So she went back to the witnesses, and she got disfellowshipped again. She's trying to figure out if she should stay in and out. And then I have another friend who has been out for 3 years, but she didn't deconstruct until last week. And then she's like, how come you never told me about the Australian Royal Commission? And I was like, girl, you've been out for 3 years. I thought you already did this. She was like,
Right.
no. So you got to take the time.
Yeah. I mean, I had been inactive for a while, but I had not been deconstructed. So when it hit me, like when I realized what, I learned was a lie, like it was like a freaking, my stomach dropped into my ass. And then I just shut the bed.
Okay.
That's one way to put it.
That's a great way to put it. Good job.
I've got somebody on my
God, sorry, go ahead.
goodness.
Not your
What were you saying, Jonathan?
I've got somebody on my Facebook who, I don't know if they're faded or inactive, but they're like, when I was a kid, I used to go over to their house and spend the night with the two boys, and that's the mom. So Sharon, if you're watching this, hey, I don't know if it is inactive or faded, but I'm glad you're out of it in one way or the other.
Yeah. I'm happy for people to at least experience freedom. I wish their whole mind could lose that guilt, because I think that you just carry the guilt and shame of feeling like you haven't gotten it right, and yeah, if you don't deconstruct, there's a possibility, like Ron is saying, that you run the risk of sinking back in, which I personally know, because I did it a few damn times.
You've been disfellowshipped and reinstated multiple times?
Well, no, but I've been inactive,
Gone
got active,
inactive?
Yeah, and I have been disfellowshipped once, and then I even, when I was inactive, still felt like the organization was right about the blood transfusion thing. So I had an operation saying, not even active, but I signed a paper saying I don't want blood.
It's hard to get rid of those, even when you're completely out. because my son had to have surgery when he was 3.5 months. And even though I wasn't going to stop it, I mean, this is open heart surgery, mind you. So it wasn't like, we're fine without it. You kind of have to have it, right? And I was like, are there any blood alternatives? And the guy's like, no. I'm like, okay. It was just a weird feeling, even though I wasn't going to like stop it. Because, it's ingrained in you. It's hard
It
to get rid of.
is. It is. It's kind of second nature, which is why learning how to be an actual individual, and since you now have agency over yourself and making decisions and who you love, what you wear, da 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 da, like it's a wild freaking feeling. Now trying to really have these conversations with yourself for the first time at this age, when you think like, oh, you know so much, like, oh, no, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah, it felt really good. Like after I had my first 2 children, and I had the no blood card on me both 2 times, and the first time I got inches away from where they were like, we would need to intervene with how much blood I had lost, and I was like, but I won't take one, I won't do it, and luckily the bleeding stopped. But by the 3rd baby, I was like, I ripped that thing up, and I was like, when they asked me like, would you accept a blood transfusion, I was like, yes. And I like turned to my husband and I was like, I would. Like it felt good, and just it just felt, I don't know, good within myself to stand up for myself, knowing that I would potentially need that. I don't know.
Right.
It was
chose you.
It was
That's
it was
good.
weird.
Yeah. You chose you for once over the organization. And that's an empowering thing. It's really empowering when you've not really, done that for yourself, advocated for yourself. And
Right.
especially considering you have babies to take care of, right? You've got children that depend on you. That loss of life is not just you. Your entire family would suffer. And I like it's never the child's fault, but to grow up and to learn that mommy could have lived had mommy taken a blood, like,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
I've heard someone say before that the only people they hope never wake up from the organization are people who have let their children die from not receiving a
Oh
blood
my
transfusion.
God.
I wouldn't be able to live either. Like
Yeah, how do you live with that?
I don't fit. You can live in illusion and stay in the organization. That's probably better than realizing what the gravity of what you've done.
And that's why the governing body will never get rid of the blood transfusion thing. They might say, "Oh, you
Yeah.
can take fractions," but they'll never say, hey y'all, we were wrong. We misinterpreted this scripture. You can
Yeah.
actually have blood transfusions." They will get sued out the ass.
Yeah, they'd have an angry mob of distraught
Ugh.
parents.
Like, you know how many kids passed away because they didn't get a blood?
Right.
Parents would be in riots.
Yeah. It's a scary thing that a lot of people have been faced with. And, you always think like, not me, but it can happen to anybody. There's lots of different reasons that you could need a blood transfusion. It's not necessarily just emergency situations where, car accident, loss of blood. It can be having a baby. It can be you have some kind of deficiency. I don't know. There's so many different reasons that you could need a blood transfusion. And some people, I've had people in my comments tell me that they need regular blood transfusions. I forget what it is for. Might be some iron issue, whatever. But they wouldn't survive without blood transfusions. And it's really, it's a genocide of people with possibly like some kind of disability. You know what I mean? So there's so many layers to this. It's not nuanced. Let people take blood. But you know what I mean? There's so many nuanced avenues for the reasons that people might need to take blood that you just don't realize as a Jehovah's Witness that could happen to you, that is happening to other people that you might know, who are fighting against this simply because of what the organization says. And at the end of that last clip that I showed, they made it abundantly clear that CO that was talking, he said, we have to keep in mind like what the congregation thinks of your decision to allow your now 2 daughters to have a college education, to seek secular education, right? So this isn't just a personal decision. So while they might say you can take blood fractions, is it a personal decision? Truly? When there's a possibility you could be judged, you could lose your, like that guy ended up, that elder lost his brother Brown. He lost his position because of this. So it's not a personal decision. It really depends what your congregation thinks and feels as a whole. And we all know that each congregation is different. It's not as unified as you think.
Yeah. Well, do we want to have any final thoughts? We're at a little over an hour and a half now. And I think
anybody?
some of us have to go.
Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry. Any final thoughts? And also, please plug your socials or anything that you want to put out there.
Yeah.
I didn't put I did not change my name to my TikTok account like she did, which is smart. But mine is mine is Apostate Collective on TikTok. I have an Instagram account, and I think that's it. But that's because I have a website called Apostate Collective, and that's where people can write their waking up stories, and they can write their open letters to people who are shunning you, kind of help you work through your feelings. So that's what I created that website for.
Awesome.
And that's all of my plugs that I have.
If you could just remember to put the links into the Discord if you want, and then I will make sure I put them under this description so that way people can find you easier. I can do that after. What about you, Ray? Do you have anything you want to plug? Do you have any final words about the pain in the dookie booty department?
I really do think that the PID really does help in exposing themselves, because we can take those types of clips and really analyze them and compare them to what they really say to their members and expose that as the real truth. So what we're doing is a good work, and I'm really proud of it. And I'm glad that you guys asked for me to be here. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate being here. My socials, there's one, the TikTok, deconstruct.with.ray. And then I also will be posting a YouTube video tomorrow, deconstruct.with.Regine. They took Ray, so I had to put the full name, unfortunately. But tomorrow I'll be posting a video talking about relationships after Watchtower, and how that impacts. So I'll be doing that with my fiance, and I think it'll be really nice. So check that out, and that's all I really have. Everything else is private.
And so that was your TikTok and your YouTube?
Yes.
Okay, so make sure you get me those links, and I'll be sure to put those in. That's awesome. Yeah, I look forward to seeing that. As far as Jonathan and I go, we have some stuff we want to release here on the channel.
Yeah.
We're going to be posting those links very shortly. We have some cult tunes we're working on. And also, I was thinking maybe we should take the clips that we made, and maybe we should just put those together and also just release them so people can just see those clips and like the actual.
Do a little editing, add some music or something.
Yeah, I think that might be good too. So make sure you pay attention to the channel. Please like, follow, share. So that way it helps boost the algorithm, gets people here to the channel, and we'll make sure we post those as soon as we can. What did you have, Jonathan?
Oh, just my socials are just Ex-Witness Awake at whatever, YouTube,
wherever,
or Instagram, or
whatever.
TikTok.
Wherever.
I like to keep it. I like to keep it uniform.
I love it. Okay. And as for me, I think You can find me here. You can find me at Ryan Cultastic on YouTube. You can also find my TikTok, and all these links will go in the description, as I said before. You can find me at A Sandwich, or also Tax the Churches. If you search Tax the Churches, I will usually come up, because yeah, we should be taxing the churches. These organizations are rich. The Jehovah's Witnesses are one of the richest organizations in Canada. Like, what the heck? And the Mormons are like,
They're next
they
level
got
rich.
McDuck. What was that? What was that dude? Scrooge McDuck?
Yeah.
That's the Mormons right there. That's Scrooge McDuck.
I think
Scrooge McMormon.
JWs are the lower class, and then Mormons are the middle, and then Scientology is the higher.
Oh yeah, there's
the levels
different
of cults and their money.
I love that. That would be a whole like show that we could do. Like just like
Yeah.
all different cults and their level status.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention something. I've seen a couple comments in the comments about an aposticon. Actually, I have been planning to have a meetup in Niagara Falls, New York on Saturday, September the 9th. So far, I think there might be like a half a dozen people that show up, you know, because it's kind of hard to get people to come from all over the world to hang out place. But I chose that area because it's touristy. So if you're like, hey, what's up? Nice to meet you. Hey, you're a real person. And if you want to go do your thing and go to the casino, whatever, you know,
that's a great idea.
And
It
you know,
is.
just have dinner and stuff.
People
And
have social anxiety, you know.
yeah. So if anybody's interested, like really interested, and they think you might be able to come out to the area at that time, just contact me or Ryan, and we can chat about it, give you the details.
And as far as final comments, just if you have any information, you see something strange, you see these PID articles somewhere, you want to send them to the channel, put it in the comment in the link. I mean, the link in the oh wait, actually, I don't know if you can put links in the comments anymore. I think they might have disabled that feature because of spam and stuff. Okay, so never mind that. How about this? I am again going to share the Apostate Coalition
email.
Do we have an email, Jonathan?
I mean, I have an email. I can give you that to put into the show description.
Okay, so for now, oh hey, I love you. Know I love you. You're going to be my best friend one day. You're going to find this out. You are going to be my best friend. I love this channel so much. Oh my God. Okay. So anyhow, yeah, there's the Discord. Please, we'd love for you to join. You don't have to just be a Jehovah's Witness. We have all different varieties, Scientologists, Mormons, you name it, different faiths. It's just a bunch of people trying to get together to raise awareness, maybe even activism if possible. And community, above all, community. Like, I love the fact that I have people I can talk to and they understand where I'm coming from. So,
because sometimes you're having a bad time dealing with your issues and you just need people to hear you.
Yeah, it's difficult to adjust at times. So it's nice to have people who understand. And, you know, again, it's a journey. There's times where it's up, it's down, it's great. You're grieving, happy, elated. You know, it's a whole thing. Again, thank you so much to everybody in the comments. Thank you to our guests. We love that you were here. We loved hearing your opinion, joining the discussion.
Thank you.
Oh, wow, Wally. That's right.
Wally.
Woot, woot.
We love you, Wally. Hope you're doing okay. If there's anything we can do to help support you, you know, you let us know. We love you. Being part of this community
one
as
last
well.
thing. I tried private messaging you, but I don't know if you saw it. Did you want to play the one just as kind of a reward for people that have been stuck it out for our live, and then we'll release it again? Or do you want to just release it by itself?
Oh, the cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh,
It ain't
I
long,
guess
so.
yeah, actually, okay. So if you guys, I guess I could do that because it's on I do have the link, don't I?
Yeah.
You might need to help me search up the link real quick.
Because you sent it to me, right?
I did. So it's in there. I just have to find it
I'll see if I can
because
find
it's private because I haven't logged in yet.
Right.
Da, 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 da. Sorry, you guys.
You made me think of like DuckTales when you said Scrooge McDuck.
We had a lot going on.
DuckTales.
You just look at our faces. Oh, and if you need to leave, you can dip out. I don't want y'all to sit here if you don't want to, because we know you have stuff to do.
I have to go show my fiance some love. I haven't seen him.
Yes, please go
Aw,
show
that's
your
nice.
fiance some love. Dip out, but we appreciate you being here, and we'll be looking forward to your episode with him. That's going to be really cool.
Yeah, tomorrow. So, and I'll be talking to you later, and I'll be watching. So, bye, y'all.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
There's probably an easier way to search, but I'm literally scrolling. If I had a keyword, but I don't.
You did it on your personal channel, right?
Did I? Oh,
Yeah,
I might
so
have deleted them.
Yeah, just go.
Hold on.
Just
hold,
go into your.
hold up. Hold up. Wait, because there's a possibility I already deleted them because I thought I added them to yours or to ours.
Mm-hmm. This is some quality.
Yeah, this is quality
quality
content
streaming right
now.
here. Yeah, I don't even know.
Okay, so I might have Plunderland.
Yeah,
but I don't have.
Whichever.
Okay, I think I
Because
have.
we'll release this anyway. But I wanted to give you guys a little taste of what's in store for you.
You're getting a sneak peek.
Yes, you're getting a little sneaky peeky, you little sneak peekers.
I'm a fan
You
of watching
silly
you
little-
guys, so I'm just like, I'm not even contributing at this point. I'm just watching.
You got a front row seat, sitting backstage, or on the stage.
I like it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I actually did it, you guys. Okay, I have to share this tab instead. I'm getting there. Whew. Lord,
Oh, here we
I did
go.
it. Lord, I did it. Now, if I push any
Yeah,
of these,
I'm
will
so
it make it?
excited.
Nope, that's not better. That's the best I can do. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
In Plunderland's particular realm, the reason often strays. 9 curious figures rule the roost, each lost in his own days. Samuel heard the Cheshire cat, with his
Meow.
feet afloat, grins as the chaos ensues, nonchalantly taking note. Mark Sanderson, the walrus, with his cunning sly smile, amasses the wealth, the eminent end he seems to beguile. Kenneth Cook, a soldier card, stands tall, alert and keen. Guarding their wealth is his mission, to keep the coffers clean. Enter Jeffrey Jackson, the dodo bird, flapping without a care, oblivious to the end times. Peacefully unaware. Stephen Lett, the Mad Hatter, with a grin both wide and bright, proclaims the end is near at hand, with apparent delight. Garrett Loesch, a caterpillar, puffing on his hookah.
Yeah, man.
Tales of the world's end, with a mystical, dreamy stupor. Legal D and Winderdum, the duo of deceit. Their bumbling words mask the sound of the ticking beat. David Splain, the White Rabbit, with his watch clasped tight, frantically warns of the ticking clock, stirring up a fright. In Plunderland they wait and watch, their eyes upon the murky sky. The return of the Jabberwocky they know soon is nigh.
I ate too many donuts that day.
There she blows.
There it
That was
is.
that.
So that's the kind of crazy stuff that you'll get to see.
Yeah, that's what we're working on
It's fun.
behind the scenes, trying to learn. I mean, AI is kind of like the new way. So we're trying to use that and apply it to our JW stuff. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? So yeah, we will post that link shortly. So that way you can just watch it there. Hopefully the quality will be a little better instead of watching it just through mine, and you can see the details a little bit better. But also, if you want to join the server, I did post the link, but if you want to do any of this with us, if you want to do live streams, if
Oh,
you
yeah.
want to make content, we'd be happy to partner with you. It's just meant to bring awareness, have fun, community, So
Yeah, and we're not a animation studio, so
yes,
it's a little
guys,
bit of a process.
So yeah, sorry.
And
That's like the
admittedly,
best I
Ryan is
can do.
doing most of the AI stuff. I'm mostly doing voices and ideas, but it's a
Yeah,
process.
it's a process. But anyway, if you feel like you want to add, please come and join us. Again, thanks for being here, you guys. We love you so much. And we will see you soon. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Bye.